Since its debut, the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise has become one of the biggest horror franchises of all time. It has seen massive heights and become a staple within the horror genre beyond just video games. There are books written about this IP, not to mention there's a movie in development, and there was a movie influenced by the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise called Willy's Wonderland starring Nicolas Cage. So when a 3D installment was announced, many were excited to finally head into this horrifying world in a new perspective and start exploring this world. Unfortunately, Five Nights at Freddy Security Breach is a technical mess that rivals Cyberpunk 2077 or even GTA Definitive Edition. The branching narrative has its charms of unlocking hidden paths, and the art direction is absolutely phenomenal in this game. However, that interest begins to wane when so many issues keep appearing. This game was not ready for release, and it's clear that it needed another 6 months in development or so. The story stars a young boy named Gregory. In an attempt to evade the local security guard named Vanessa of Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex, Gregory hid inside Freddy's chest. This area is used to store birthday cake for celebrations, but when Freddy was knocked out during a malfunction, Gregory snuck inside when trying to evade Vanessa for an unknown reason. He simply doesn't trust her, and for good reason, as we'll find out later in the story. With the help of Freddy, Gregory must survive the night inside the Pizzaplex during its lockdown, as something attempts to hunt him down, and he evades the other animatronics. The story has all the elements fans of this series love. Lots of mysteries and secret endings to unlock, but they're not as obtusely hidden as in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 with the whole tiles situation. Trust me, you'll be able to find all the endings as long as you look very well. However, there are some problems, and you'll see when I get into it. The story has a lot of positive elements though, with various hidden messages from those who worked in the building, and the customers who equally were unnerved by the place due to all the missing children, despite the colorful areas and the fact this place was geared towards children, often adding insight into what the people saw and endured. Despite the attractive nature of the Pizzaplex, many knew that something was wrong with it, with the animatronics acting weird and of course the missing children, but they kept reopening the place, adding to the intensity of what lies in the dark corners of the Pizzaplex. In terms of art direction and atmosphere, the game has some amazing locations. Each area of the Pizzaplex is uniquely designed with section themes after the animatronics. This includes Foxy's The Wolf's Raceway, Monty's Golf Course, Chica's Laser Tag, Bonnie's Bowling Alley, and an arcade, and so many other great things. Bringing it all together is this main stage central area where you see the central cast that includes Freddy Fazbear, Chica, Foxy, and Monty in holographic projection. It's all amazing to look at, but the game's technical mess is where everything starts to fall apart. It looks beautiful, like an incredible present, but when you actually open it, all that you see is underwear and socks. It's just a big disappointment. So now let's talk about the gameplay. This is a horror stealth title, which means Gregory must hide from the various things hunting him. You can crouch and sprint, with tools provided through progression to temporarily disable the robots that are hunting you. This includes a laser gun and a camera, but only one is provided during the main campaign, and the other is provided if you decide to continue forward in the optional endgame content. Gregory can also hide inside areas and use the camera system to look through various parts of the area, since he cannot peek or attach to cover to lean and look outside into cover, which is a bit annoying. He also has a flashlight for dark areas. The camera system does work, and it allows you to look at various locations in order to get you into that Five Nights at Freddy's field. After all, this franchise started at looking at cameras, so they implemented well. I don't really know why they didn't implement the ability to peek out, but I guess it's just the idea that they'll just see you inside those crates or those bins or anything. The stealth mechanics work well enough, but the hostile robots you encounter are fickle when it comes to difficulty. Since the main cast of enemies is limited, the developers added security bots known as staff that teleport the animatronics in the location where you are found. Yeah, the developers couldn't even bother to add a system where the animatronic actually runs to their location, like teleport them beneath you or some random location off screen and have them run towards you to make them look realistic. They couldn't even do that. They literally just teleport to your location. I know that the franchise has some creatures that have that ability, such as Golden Freddy and the Puppet, but they never make it clear that these are supernatural robots. In fact, they make it very clear that they are physical robots, seeing that they can be harmed by various objects throughout the game. In fact, you do have to harm them in the game in order to progress, so it doesn't make any sense that they just teleport to your location. This is most likely to resolve a technical flaw, so they don't have to program pathing, because the pathing in this game is not that great as some of the animatronics use it, such as Sundrop, which you'll see here as the pathing is pretty weird. Just look at this. And of course, we also have Freddy himself, who can get caught in the environment like this, where he literally starts using teleportation here. Sometimes there are so many of these staff bots that they'll clip into one another, and they'll even, and I have to bring this up again, teleport back to their original path. I swear to God, I felt like they just hit Control C and Control V and just placed all these staff robots in random locations just to add more difficulty to the game, instead of actually trying to create challenge, which is basically the crutch of artificial difficulty. It could have been done well, but it's just very lazy as far as I can see. Now, you can control Freddy, but only if Gregory climbs into his chest. Freddy is basically immune from detection when it comes to the other animatronics, so you can climb into him in order to avoid them. But he's on a specific charge that can only last for so long. Once the charge is up, he'll attack you, which you'll understand later in the story of why he attacks you. The only one who can get you while you're inside Freddy is the animatronic known as Moondrop, who comes during very specific sections of the game, so everyone else will just basically ignore you. So it is a pretty good system that's balanced, but the staff robots are way too much. They really need to cool it with the placement of these things. This installment does put more emphasis on the various animatronics, with personalized boss fights and upgrades fashioned from the parts taken from them by Gregory after defeating them through a series of tasks. They're cool cinematic affairs that often place you in difficult situations. The thing is that despite these animatronics losing a specific part of themselves, they return to the game like nothing happened to them. They'll sometimes get damaged in very severe ways, such as being smashed by a garbage disposal, then they'll just come back no problem. In the case of Roxy, she comes back even more powerful than before, because now that she doesn't have her eyes, she becomes incredibly astute to your sounds, the sounds you make, and she can spot you from a long way away. So in reality, she just becomes more powerful, which is ironic in all things considered, so I don't really know why. I mean, I understand they want to keep the challenge there by making sure the animatronics are still present, but it's a little weird that they are locked in certain areas that are inaccessible, then they just suddenly appear in the main stage like nothing happened. It's extremely noticeable that the developers tried to translate the systems used in the original game into 3D, and while the camera system works well, most of the systems that worked in the original games do not work here. Since you die in one hit, it makes any type of mistake harshly punished. In the original games, this worked because each night would last around 9 minutes, give or take, and you weren't moving or gathering anything, so you didn't lose that much. You could just get right back in and play right from the beginning. But when placed in a 3D environment where you're supposed to explore, locate collectibles, and gather items, this is more of an annoyance than a challenging feature, especially with so many of these one mistakes that you can fail and then just end up losing everything. And while you do get upgrades for Freddy, there's this really foolish mini game that you have to play where you just play Simon Says, and like I said, you make one mistake and you fail everything. And this issue skyrockets when you reach the end of the game. When you get to the end of the game and finally escape the Pizzaplex, you have to make a choice. You can either continue to search the facility or leave. In order to get the game's various endings, you have to continue to search the facility. And the problem is that the game removes save functions completely for this. Now, you can make the argument that saying, well, they want to make this much more intense. but there is no narrative reason for this. Absolutely zero. They don't give you a reason of why you can't save anymore, so it's just perplexing that they decide, well, we're gonna cut out saving for some reason. Other horror games do this by giving you items in order to save, such as the most notorious being Resident Evil, where you use ink ribbons to save. My argument would be that in order to, I guess, create a sense of challenge without just saying, okay, now we're going to cut off this feature, it's by just giving you, I don't know, batteries or something and saying you have a limited amount of batteries and this is how many times you can save. But since the game doesn't have checkpoints, I guess they just made saving frequently in the core campaign a necessity and served that as a checkpoint. And that's what I'm trying to argue. This game just has so many artificial difficulty barriers by just removing key features or just adding enemies without taking the time to construct a game that's actually challenging. It's not difficult because it actually has good challenges that require you time and effort to overcome, but instead bases a lot of these on luck and just removing elements that the player has had throughout the game. I mean, you're removing save functions just for the idea that everything that happens after that is so intensely more stressful because you don't have that safety net that you needed before. Other games, again, have this safety net, but they also develop a system that makes it challenging. So even though you have that idea of I'm going to start back at the checkpoint, it still creates tension, such as in The Evil Within, Silent Hill, and Resident Evil. You still have the checkpoint and the save point that's not that far away, but at the same time, the intensity of the challenge just makes it that more stressful in a good way, not in the way that I just want to beat this thing so I don't have to suffer through everything all over again. And mounting on all these issues is the many technical problems, because like I said, when you get to the end game content, if you fail once or anything happens, the game crashes or there's a weird bug, you lose everything because you don't have any save points. And in a game where frequent crashing, bugs, and Freddy acting weirdly is commonplace, you really needed to nail that system because there were so many problems with trying to get the game's true endings. Okay, now I know I've talked about a lot of spoilers, but there are more spoilers here, and here they are. You cannot get one of the endings that require you to complete these Princess Quest games because they forgot to put in the command controls for consoles. I'm pressing every button on the controller. What the hell? Maybe I press enter on my keyboard. Didn't do anything. Dude, what the hell? I have no idea what to say about this. Come on, what the hell? Dude, I am like, wow. God. I'm speechless right now. I don't know what to say about all this garbage. I need to take a break. They never updated. Apparently, I'm not the one. They never updated the console controls, so it's stuck on this screen. So you're basically fucked. Great job. A+ game development skills right there. So if you have a PS4 and PS5 version like I did, you cannot play these games because they forgot something so basic. I am actually floored by that. It's almost like they didn't test this and decide, hey, one of these endings that's integral to the game, you can't get that because reasons. And this gets even worse. One of the game's true endings requires you to collect CD disc. Now, no problem. You can only get these discs at the end game content because you need Roxy's eyes. You cannot get 2 of these discs in the arcade because they forgot to program Freddy getting into the arcade. He can't get into the arcade, so you can't see the disc. And the community has such a problem with this because they had to develop glitches in order to get to the arcade with Freddy. I'm not joking. In order to get the true ending of the game, you have to break the game. Or if you're on PC, just mod the game or command consoles or something like that. But if you're on PlayStation, like I stated, you have to glitch through the game and hope to God that it doesn't crash, because I can tell you right now, it's crashed several times for me, and I lost over an hour of progress that I had to redo because, saves don't work in the end game content because, you know what, I have no answer for this because I really want an answer from the developers. And I know challenge is a very difficult thing to talk about because everyone's level of skill varies between person to person. It's a harsh topic because the common counter argument is just get good. Often that phrase is used without any type of context just to belittle the person who's having trouble regardless of argument. In Security Breach, you can't really make that argument when all these technical issues exist. Not to mention, like I said, you can't get the true ending without glitching the game, which is just... that's basically that's the chef kiss of argument for this game. You cannot get the game's true ending without breaking the game. If you're on consoles, you're basically left with that option. If you're on PC, you could at least glitch the game using command consoles or mods, but on consoles, you're basically screwed. And just to showcase how unpolished this game is, the PS4 version, which you get free if you buy the PlayStation 5 version or the PlayStation 4 version, you get the free upgrade to the PlayStation 5. Look at all these graphical issues. Like, how the hell did this get past QA? I'm certain the QA testers saw this and said this is not okay. But look at this. It's ridiculous. Like, you can't even see the picture on the save screen. Like, look at that. What the hell wouldn't happen here? Honestly, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach is just shameful. The game has an appealing art direction, and the horror mystery narrative offers a lot of discovery, but the gameplay and technical issues are just too much to deal with. This is an early access game, being sold at $40 that punishes you for not playing the game perfectly. Often the game just throws obstacles at you to just try and create the illusion of challenge, when it's clear the developers just didn't know how to create compelling challenges within a 3D environment. They didn't look at games like Dishonored or Deus Ex or other sneak-in games to showcase how to do it correctly, and instead just tried to mimic what was in the original Five Nights at Freddy's games, which worked with one-hit deaths, and tried to translate it into this 3D environment, which it just doesn't work. There needs to be an equal balance, and it's just not here. And when you have an endgame where one mistake can mean death, you have completely remove saves, and on top of it, in order to get the game's actual ending, you have to glitch through the game. You really screwed up here. It is absolutely shameful that this game released in this state, and it was clearly not ready. I don't get why they just didn't push it out. It's December, it's not Halloween, so there's really no reason why they shouldn't have delayed this game even further, because, it is not okay. So there is my review for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Don't buy this game right now. Wait until a couple of months until they get all the fixes ironed out. But if you're a mega Five Nights at Freddy's fan, I can understand. I actually started playing this franchise earlier this year, and I really like it. But get it on PC, because the only way I got the true ending of the game, because the game crashed and I couldn't get it, and I felt incredibly screwed after trying to do this 3-4 times. My friend allowed me access to a Steam account, which allowed me to finally experience the true ending of the game, which is pretty epic. The finale final boss is actually very well done. It's just ridiculous that the way to get it is to basically break the game in order to get this thing. But either way, just wait. Don't buy it now. Wait until it's ironed out, but if you get it now, I guarantee you're going to feel cheated. So tell me what you think of Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. If you played it, tell me what you thought of the review. If you liked it or you hated it, there's no dislike button, so you can't see publicly whether people like or dislike the video, but tell me your opinions in the comments below. I like reading people's various opinions on things, and I'll see you all next time. Check out all my content below, and I should add this. A lot of people are coming to me in my comment section telling me that Noobfeed is stealing my videos. I am the managing editor for Noobfeed.com, and I've been the one who's been uploading videos between Noobfeed and my home channel, which is this. And everything recorded between Noobfeed and my home channel is completely separate because YouTube has a strict policy about reusing footage. So everything that I recorded on Noob Feed that was uploaded there was uploaded specifically for that channel, and everything that was uploaded for me was uploaded for me. So I had to record the game on 2 separate videos, and it takes a long time because, again, I don't want to poke the bull, so I record everything separately. So if I appreciate everyone coming to me about that, but yeah, it is me, so thank you for that. So until next time, guys, check out my other content, like, subscribe, consider joining, it does help me out a lot, and I'll see you all next time. Stay awesome, everyone.